Destiny 2 has 1,269 different weapons you can choose from to perfect and tweak your build. Every single one of these weapons has a name. Admittedly, most of these names are really cool, with some being so famous that they are almost synonymous with the game itself. But for every gun that's named something cool, there are 10 guns that are named something mid. And for every 30 guns that are named something mid, there is a gun with an absolutely atrocious name. So today, I'm going to show you what I think are the 10 most abhorrent and diabolically named weapons in Destiny 2. Genuinely the most loosely disguised goose propaganda I have ever seen. Technically speaking, Hoosegow means jail. It derives from the Spanish word juzgado, which means courthouse or tribunal or judged. It doesn't really mean jail in the full seriousness of the word though. Hoosegow is basically a lamer way of saying the slammer, a great weapon by the way, or the can. And the can is exactly where you'll be if you try to run anything with this weapon. I swear for some of these weapons, they literally just spam a random word generator until they get the dumbest sounding one. Boondoggle is, by definition, a reflection of Destiny 2 as a whole, with the word meaning, quote, a project that is considered a waste of both time and money and yet is often continued, end quote. The Boondoggle is also in itself a boondoggle since it was maybe used in one Frostbolt video, then left to rot in the gunsmith's inventory until some poor new light schmuck picks it up and thinks it's good because it has a cool reload animation. To the boondoggler cultist out there, it's not worth it, just put the weapon down. His what now? There are several weapons in this genre that start with a random dude's name and then follows it with a long shaft-like object. Joxer stuck out to me because who actually is Joxer, bro? The Joxer left such an impression they named an entire weapon after him. Well, his long shaft-like sword. His sword. Also, by the way, Joxer's pre-Guardian name was Eric. Like, this is basically called Eric's Longsword. Also, apparently this is a good crucible weapon, so shout out all of you two-handing Eric's Longsword. That's how long I last. When I get headshot in the crucible, gosh. Do I even have to say anything else? I mean, you see the name of the weapon. Like, surely the dev who made this was pure of mind and meant it in the way that, like, a single clap is meant as, like, a disapproving statement, meaning, like, only one person clapped for your performance, right? Right? It's certainly not going to be seen as that anymore by anybody who watches this video. Also, the tagline is, quote, hold your applause for the end, end quote. Sometimes all it takes is a single clap to let the applause out. Greasy Luck. I feel like it kind of speaks for itself. Like, all of the other weapons from this dungeon had sick names. No Survivors, Cold Comfort, like, bro, the dev who named this really fumbled the bag. I mean, like, I see the vision. Some people use the term Greasy Luck as like a way of saying good luck, but it mostly exists in old fishing towns as a relic of the whaling era. And like, it looks like a harpoon, so I'm following the thin, like, whaling theme laid out by whoever named this, but yeah, it's still, like, absolutely memed on. Okay, so apparently this is a military term, which I didn't know when I put this on the list, but it just means to stay alert and attentive. That does not mean it doesn't sound dumb as shit, though. Like, all I can imagine seeing this weapon title is a subtle nerd emoji appearing at the end. Stay frosty. Sorry, I sounded like Sweaticle there. Like, it almost screams a 7th grader who just read Frindle for the first time and thinks that the plot of Frindle is an achievable dream. But what makes it even sadder is no one will catch on to saying stay frosty because this kid is an unlikable chud with maybe one friend, and at the end of the day, that friend will use Stay Frosty because this kid has been attempting to get like all of these other kids to use Stay Frosty all day and they won't, so he's like super sad and depressed, but then his one friend is like, bro, you just have to Stay Frosty, and then like the kid who's been trying to get everybody to say Stay Frosty, he like perks up and then they like make out or something. You Fel Taradiddle what now? Apparently this means like bitter, lie, or any combination of synonyms of those words, at least according to the lovely Reddit linguists. Although these days just having diddle or any similar sounding word in a phrase or name is a death sentence if you want whatever you're doing to be taken seriously, which can definitely be traced back to the whole Diddy thing that happened however long ago that was. Anyway, I think we should have a community-wide push to call anyone using this weapon a diddler, that is diddling enemies for a dopamine hit. Also, the tag for this weapon is, it's an unassuming thing, but you'll be amazed at the damage it can do when applied with precision. Like bro, diddling is not that unassuming. And all we've been seeing this past couple years is proof of the damage it causes, even without being applied with precision. Actually a good weapon though. Okay, actually, who outsourced to the UK for this one? This one is on the list for pure stupidity. Like, we do not need to be bringing back Victorian slang for a weapon that is the epitome of straight cheeks. A couple complaints about this weapon. First, the name is completely ironic. Nanty Narking is the act of having an overly excessive amount of fun, and using this weapon is genuinely anything but. And you may be wondering, how do you know what using this weapon is like? Bro, I've been using Nanty Narker for years because of its stupid name. I used to run a challenge every time a new dungeon came out, where we would have to beat every dungeon in release order using only the gear we got from those dungeons, and to start we'd have to pick blue or lower weapons and armor until we could fill out the slots. Let me know if I should make a video of this. The second complaint, and I can't stress this enough, it's just stupid sounding and fun to laugh at, like most British things. Shout out Britain though, they high-key going through it right now. Genuinely who approved this one. There was zero need to make this a two-parter. Like Enyo would have been cool on its own, or even Enyo's Wrath, or something that makes it even just slightly more apparent that Enyo is a goddess in Greek mythology. In fact, having a Greek goddess named Enyo and then slapping a letter that is very commonly used to describe something akin to Joxer's Longsword is probably not a good idea. But like, imagine the trash talk mid-gunfight. I'm literally Enyo-D right now. I was Enyo-D for a second there. I want to know how many people a name goes through before it gets approved to be in the game, especially this one. Like, I remember Season of the Haunted back when this came out. People were hitting the raised eyebrow emoji when this thing started dropping. And I think even Fallout Plays said something about it in a video. This was not like a subtle little thing you had to really see between the lines to make it the number 2 worst name gun of the game. By the way, the tag for this weapon is the joy of the fight, the call of the battle. What could the joy possibly be? And what is the call of the battle? Again, would have worked so much better and would barely have to worry about a single entendre if it was called Enyo's Wrath. But since it is called Enyo-D and is already eyebrow quirk worthy, you start seeing things in a different light when it comes to anything about the gun. There were tons of weapons with dumb names that didn't quite make the cut for the top 10, so I'm going to go through some of my favorites that didn't make it, just for the sake of educating you. These are also in no particular order, so feel free to make your own list within this list. Ghost Primus. Rest in peace Les Claypool. Respect for keeping the band together post-mortem though. Galron's right hand. Why was his hand an auto rifle? Why would we want his right hand? What was he doing with it? No Feelings. Absolute edgelord Bart Simpson delete feeling score, and actually all of the Black Armory weapons are named like this. Tone Patrol. Feels like a stupid quote from a teen in a 2010s Disney sitcom talking to her mom. Lincoln Green. Buddy is not a $5 bill. Go figure. Go figure this weapon is on here. The Rattler. Just immediately puts this one image of SpongeBob in my mind. The Keening. Sounds like a bad debut album from a metal band of the same name. Plug 1. I think this could have made the top 10. What are we plugging? Hello? Am I ranking my plugs to find the best product? Bad Dragon sponsors? I'm kidding. Blowout. I love sneaking up on people and shooting this at their back. Microport. 1 in a million chance of this being a good name. Line in the sand. It's a linear 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 linear line in Suspectum. You were not Benoit Blanc, little bro. And last of the honorable mentions, I have a genre of horribly named weapons that I like to call lazy. I feel like these weapons were genuinely just filler weapons needed to clog the loot pool, and the devs just kept the funny temp names. The triple threat of action item, something new, and the something something is almost an insult to the player base. But as long as we're still getting new weapons, I genuinely can't complain. Please keep making content even if it's named like this. Guys, it's one letter away. I'm not gonna lie, this name is cooked on so many levels, and I'm not even gonna start with the main offense. In fact, I actually tried to find any way for this weapon to possibly be unrelated to the elephant in the room, but all I ended up finding were 2 translations into 2 different numerologies, and you aren't going to believe it. It genuinely means 6 in Chaldean numerology and 7 in Pythagorean numerology. How could you make this up? Being one letter away is crazy too. Like, we literally have the Epstein 6.7 rifle in the game. Like, hello? Eystein-D too, by the way. D as in D. Like, exactly the same kind of D as Enyo-D. And guess what? We can make the same entendres here to an arguably far worse result. Like, imagine getting shot on from behind by the Eystein-D. Son, I'm crying. Son, I'm crying. That's horrible. Who put this in the game? But just when you think it can't get any worse, wait until you hear the tag this gun has. We guarantee a fair trial. How could you make it more obvious what this weapon is named after? Either that or whoever named this weapon could see into the future and predicted that naming a mid-pulse rifle the Eystein-D 6.7 hit piece 9000 shooter would be essential to the world of Destiny 2 and its greater player base. Like, holy moly, bro. Actually though, we need to have a resurgence in this weapon. Like, get it back onto the popularity charts. Let the world know that Epstein's D is out to play. Yeah, okay bro, just subscribe.